Hello and welcome back to Jules Math Tools. In our session today, we are calculating the perimeter of a scalene triangle when terms are involved. And if you want to see how this is done, let's get started. So in our example today, we will be calculating the perimeter of a scalene triangle when we are given the length of our perimeter. And whenever we are calculating our perimeter, remember that means that we are simply adding up all the sides of our triangle. So when adding up your sides, you have to make sure that every term that is given to you on all three sides are included. And this is equal to 39 meters. Now we're going to simplify our expression on the left-hand side by adding up all of our like terms. And since all of our terms involve p, that means we're going to add all of the numbers together. So 5 plus 3 is equal to 8, and 8 plus 4 is equal to 12. And now we're going to form our last step, where just like if we were solving a one-step equation, involving multiplication, we would divide both sides of our equation by our term that is multiplied to our variable, which is our coefficient of 12 in this equation. So we're going to be dividing both sides of the equation by 12. So 12 divides into 12 ones. 12 will divide into 12 ones, which means that we are now equal to just p. And remember that 1p is the same thing as writing 12. And then we have 12 divided into itself once. And here we're going to have to perform a little bit of long division to divide our 12 into our 39. So we know 12 can't divide into 3, so that's going to be a 0. 12 will divide into 39 3 times. 3 times 12 is equal to 36. 39 subtract 36 will leave us with a difference of 3. We're now going to input our decimal point. Remember, our decimal point is always written in after we divide into all of the numbers that are in the whole number part, that are in the numerator part of our fraction. And we're going to now add a 0 and bring down the 0. So with measurements, one of the things I like to do is to try to get my answer as accurate as possible. So even if that involves me dividing to 1 or 2 digits behind the decimal point, I will have to do that just to make sure the answer is as accurate as. So now we're going to divide 12 into 30. 12 goes into 30 twice. 2 times 12 is 24. When 30 subtracts 24, we're going to get a difference of 6. We're going to add one more 0 because I know that with looking at 60, I know that 12 is going to go into 65 times, so my number will divide out completely, and I will have no remainder. So for this question, we are saying that our variable p will be equal to 3.25 meters. Okay, so now let's move on to our last and final step. We, of course, are going to check. And with checking, one of the things you must keep in mind is that you must check each side. So you cannot just leave your answer as is. They gave us variables with our measurements, and for some questions you may not be asked to even do any of this. You may just be asked to calculate for your unknown variable p. But if you want to check your answer to make sure that the answer is actually valid, this is the next step that you're going to have to perform. So we said that our p is equal to 3.25 meters. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be checking each of my side and then summing their perimeter to ensure that all of them actually do add up to 39. So if p is equal to 3.25, so let's work on my first side. So I have 5p, and if p is equal to 3.25, then that means that I have 5 being multiplied to 3.25. So let's perform our multiplication. 3.25 times my 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Put my 5, carry the 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 2 will give me 12. Put my 2, carry the 1. 3 times 5 is 15. Plus 1 will equal to 16. And I have 2 digits behind the decimal point. So this is telling me that this side is equal to 16.25 meters. That's my side for my 5p. Now let's check my next side, which is 4p. So we know that 4p equals to 4 times 3.25. And we're going to do our multiplication right here as well. So 3.25 times 4. 4 times 5 is 20. Put my 0, carry the 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 2 is equal to 10. Carry my 1. 4 times 3 is 12. Plus 1 is equal to 13. So this side is equal to 13 meters. And then for our last and final side, which is 3p. So 3p means that 3 is being multiplied to 3.25. And we will multiply our 3.25 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. Carry our 1. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 1 is equal to 7. And then 3 times 3 is equal to 9. So this side will be equal to 9.75 meters. And now that we have calculated the length of all of our sides, our next step is simply going to be to add up all of our sides and see if they equal to 39. So we have our 16.25, and I'm going to stack these to add to save a little bit more time. So we have 16.25, we have our 13, and we also have 9.75. And remember that our perimeter is supposed to equal to 39 meters. So that's what we are checking for. So 5 plus 5 is 0. That's 10. Carry our 1. So 7 plus 2 is 9. Plus 1 will give us 10. We'll put our 0. Carry the 1. 6 plus 1 is 7. 7 plus 3 is 10. 10 plus 9 is 19. Carry our 1. And we have 1, 2, 3. And we drop our decimal point down, and we see that everything does sum to 39. So that means that the solution that we got for P is indeed correct. So remember, these questions are pretty tricky if you're not good with algebra, but remember that these steps are very easy to follow. Just calculate the length of your perimeter and always check your answer once you're done. The final step is the most important step as well. So make sure that you get some additional practice in, and we'll see you right here in the next video on Joe's Math Tools, where we make math easy.